What's going on, Who Dat Nation? Welcome into another live edition of Saints Now by Chat Sports. In today's show, we're going to be going through the latest news and updates around the black and gold as we enter Week 12. Saints just got off their bye week, and we have a very important matchup against the Atlanta Falcons at home coming up here on Sunday. We're going to preview this matchup. We're going to talk about a player that the New Orleans Saints, there's a lot of buzz about him drafting and how he looked and why I think they made a good decision. And we're, of course, going to get into an update around Chris Olave and take questions from the Golden Gang. My name is Trizzy for Loco Lopez. Thank you guys for tuning in to today's live show. It's Hate Week. Give me a who dat in the comments section. Let's see everyone start off Hate Week with a bang. I see Pelicans Nola, Jerry G, I love football, Jartavius, Rel, good to see you. Cooper, Jerry, Young Saint. Hey, everybody. Big Duck, what's happening? Jaden, Jartavius, Young Saint, Justin. This is the audience build-up portion of our video. So what we like to do here is on our live shows, Monday and on game days and some Thursdays, we will do about 5-10 minutes of letting everyone click on their YouTube notification, come and hang out. That way they can all get informed. Get in the live chat if you would like a shout out. And if you're watching this at a later date or later on this afternoon or Monday evening, make sure you subscribe and turn on your notifications. That way you can tune in live throughout the week and get into the comments section and be a part of the conversation. Jabari, Marshall, Robert, Terry, Jeanette, Jartavius, Chad. Good to see everyone. Give me a who dat in the comments section if you are ready for this matchup. I also want you to let me know your score predictions down below. Justin pointing out some very important news for Loco Lopez's LSU Tigers. Can you
bring him in?
Can you fit the box? Justin Rimkiss, who dat? LSU supposed to hire Lane Kiffin? He's on a visit right now, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's on the visit.
His family was, at least. They said his ex-wife was also there. I don't know how close they are. I hope it wasn't a nasty divorce.
Now, why would Lane Kiffin be with his ex-wife? I don't know. Just messing around with guys. Justin saying, let's go, Loco. Jerry G, 27-10 Saints. Big Duck, 31-14. Jartavius, 35-0. I love football, 28-10. Jartavius sees a shutout. Aiken says 34-10. Who dat? And then Jabari says, I miss your sweet Prince Rashid Shaheed. I do too. I miss him as well. But I will say, I don't feel like the Seahawks are doing him justice right now.
Hey, Sam Darnold fucked him over yesterday.
Yeah,
he should have had a touchdown. Sam Darnold needs to throw it 2 yards further.
Yeah, totally agree.
Simply.
Totally agree.
Sam Darnold the pumpkin.
Yep. I do not wish poorly for Rashid Shaheed or the Seahawks because I want them to do well with him. However,
it looked rough.
It's not looking good over there right now. 35-14 from Jabari. Saints win 38-7 from Jaden. Cooper says, I thought Kiffin just got extended. He did. He did get extended recently, no?
I think they're trying to work on an extension so they get him to stay, but I think
I don't think that one's been
not signed.
Yeah, I don't think they have put pen to paper yet. Yeah. I do know Rhett Lashley was extended, SMU coach. Kurt Signetti, Indiana coach, extended. Saints win 27-0. Seahawks don't know how to use Shaheed right from Jartavius. I agree with you. Get your score predictions down below in the comment section. And if you guys want to let me know as well, we're going to dive into a discussion topic. Shedeur Sanders, obviously, he made his rookie debut yesterday. And we're going to have a conversation because I personally believe that the New Orleans Saints, Virginia Tech, James Franklin finalizing an agreement.
Arkansas just got bad news. But hey, well, that goes on. Pick a quarterback. Are you glad that the Saints...
John Gruden, you are the next head coach of the Arkansas Razorbacks. James Franklin finalizing a deal with Virginia Tech. And that is breaking news here. So if you guys are college football fans, there you go. As we know, Tyler Shough, he has recently taken over for the Saints offense. As we also know, Shedeur Sanders played yesterday for the Browns against the Ravens. And we also know that Shedeur Sanders was a very popular name amongst Saints fans, and he was a very popular draft pick in mock drafts. He was a lot of buzz between him and the New Orleans Saints. So we're going to have a conversation because I think the Saints made the right decision, drafting Tyler Shough over Shedeur Sanders. And I think that we saw a very fine display of that yesterday. I don't think that is the total messier total story around Shedeur Sanders. I think he's going to be a fine football player, but I think that it's going to be similar to like a little Spencer Rattler situation where he'll get his chance, but it's not going to be a very long leash, to be totally honest. I also think Tyler Shough, he's just looking great. Shedeur Sanders, not as much. It took a couple games for Shough to find it, but look, I'm not going to sit here and lie. I think that the New Orleans Saints are making good decisions. Now, Shedeur Sanders, obviously, is not on the team. I don't have to talk about him, but I wanted to give my take because he was a very hot topic on this channel as well as amongst the Saints fans. But everyone in the chat saying Tyler Shough, they like Tyler Shough more. I totally agree. I think Tyler Shough is the better quarterback. Jartavius, I love football. Tony, excuse me. I love football. Chriselle, yeah. I totally agree with all of you guys. I agree. All righty, we're going to have this conversation, and we're also going to get into a mailbag later on because we also have to discuss the latest news and rumors around Chris Olave, an extension. And we're going to talk in the mailbag, of course. Use hashtag Saints. Send in a super chat if you would like to be featured on the show. As always, you don't have to send in a super chat, but if you would like to skip the line and you wanted to spend a little extra time on your question or your comment, your hot take, whatever it is, make sure you send in a super chat. If it's at least $2, then it will be able to go through our system and you'll be able to send in a message. But if it's less than $2, YouTube just doesn't give you the ability to send a message. So just wanted to let you guys know that. Feel free to send in a hashtag Saints, though, if you just want to get your question in and let us get to it whenever we have the chance. I love football. Appreciate you for tuning in. Jerry G, Young Saint, Braxton, Christian, Big Duck, Jartavius, Chriselle. Let's have some fun. Let's talk some Saints football. Let's preview this matchup. I got a really fun live show planned for you here on today, and I'm really excited to get into the content. So without further ado, we're going to dive on into Saints Now by Chat Sports live on the show. And then we'll be putting out this content later on throughout the week, so that way you guys can catch it on demand later on. Friendly reminder, we go live Mondays, we go live game days, we go live some Thursdays. So make sure you subscribe, turn on your notifications. That way you never miss any of the content. Plus, we put out content and videos every single day, short form, long form, on demand. No matter what, we got you covered. So let's get into the latest around the New Orleans Saints and Shedeur Sanders. Yep. The New Orleans Saints might have dodged a bullet. The early stages of Shedeur Sanders and Tyler Shough. The careers for both of these players, it's very young. It's very early. And I understand that there is a massive overreaction in this video. But it looks like the Saints made the right decision at quarterback. Shedeur Sanders was a very hot name around the Saints, not just on this channel, but around a lot of NFL media, around a lot of other fan bases, around a lot of other things. He was a name very much so tied to this organization. This is not a hit piece. This is simply me sharing my thoughts, giving you my take, because I think the Saints did make a good decision in taking Tyler Shough over Shedeur Sanders. Now, Shedeur took his rookie debut against the Baltimore Ravens because Dillon Gabriel left due to a concussion. And for what it's worth, I do think that Shedeur Sanders is going to be slotted to start next week against the Raiders. And I think you're actually going to get a much better read on that player. The Ravens defense, they're great. And the Ravens are a good football team. And the Browns, just totally fair to Shedeur. They're a disaster right now. Their offensive line is dealing with some injuries. They don't really have a good play calling situation right now. Their weapons are lacking. So I want to give Shedeur Sanders a lot of grace when I'm talking about this, but a 13.5 passer rating is not good. The Browns offense is terrible, but he wasn't great. And I understand that the game plan was also more suited for Dillon Gabriel. But look, we saw Tyler Shough at one point take over in the second half of the game, and he was pretty solid going around Tyler Shough. He also threw 2 passes against the Seahawks in that blowout. Not really going to consider that, but in his first real action, second half against the Bucs, Shedeur Sanders also second half against the Ravens, the numbers heavily favor Tyler Shough, and I know that it's different situations. I know that it's different teams. I know it's different rosters, and everything like that is important, but I just personally believe that the Saints made the right decision when it comes to their quarterback that they drafted. Kevin Stefanski did not do a good job in making adjustments at halftime to give Shedeur a little bit more grace, but I just can't help but think I'm really glad that the Saints ended up drafting Tyler Shough because the early stages and the early signs are really positive around this rookie. Again, I'm not knocking Shedeur Sanders. I'm just more so praising Tyler Shough and praising the Saints for making a good decision, at least for what it seems like at the moment in time of filming this video in mid-November. Of course, this could be wrong in a few months or in a year or 2 years from now. Maybe this is all in a completely obscure video. But I think right here, right now, at the time of filming this, when you take into consideration everything, it seems like the Saints did make a good decision. Shough's experience is definitely on display. Shough's ability to adapt and grow and manage and run an offense and his experience in running a lot of different offenses, it's very, very apparent that he is much more comfortable and he is much more ready for the National Football League. Now, I'll let you pick a quarterback. Do you like Tyler Shough or do you like Shedeur Sanders more? Just type T or S down in the comment section. I personally like Tyler Shough more, and I'm one of those guys who said I wanted Shedeur in New Orleans. Hell, I coined the phrase Shedorlands. And I understand that opinions can change. It's something that's important, but I got to give all the flowers in the world to Tyler Shough. He has definitely impressed me, and I think he's turning a lot of opinions around amongst the Who Dat Nation. And I just want to kind of pick this little bone here. It's all over social media. It's all over the comments. It's all over everything. And it really is something that it's starting to die down now more, but this whole Saints should have drafted Shedeur conversation, like, can we please be done with it? Again, this is something that will never be done because forever we're going to sit here and look, well, Tyler Shough was so bad, we should have taken Shedeur. Or, holy cow, Shedeur is so bad, thank God we took Tyler Shough. Like, these are going to be conversations and comparisons that are always being made. But can we just, like, stop? I'm just tired of it. I'm happy that we have Tyler Shough. I'm happy for Shedeur Sanders that he has the ability to go and prove a lot of people wrong in a team that is rebuilding things, and they can build around him in the future. I just cannot sit here and lie to you. I think Tyler Shough was a better pick. I think when you consider 40th overall, and you consider why Shedeur Sanders fell, and you consider why Tyler Shough was taken and why the Saints were impressed by him, it just was a better fit. I think Kellen Moore knew that he liked what he saw in Tyler Shough. He knew that there was things that he could work with in Tyler Shough, and I think that that's why Tyler Shough is finding some success early, because it was clearly something that was that works just between Kellen Moore and what he saw in Shough. Maybe he saw something none of us else did, and a lot of us were very frustrated with that pick at the time. But again, I just think that this was a smart decision for Tyler Shough. And moving forward, I want to talk about what I want to see from him throughout the remainder of the season. He's a starter. You still got a lot of games and a lot of winnable games, and you could see Tyler Shough really start to light things up. But first things first, got to tell you guys about today's presenting sponsor, and that is Prize Picks, my favorite app to use on game days. Look, the Saints games, they're starting to get a little bit more tolerable, but let's keep it real. It's not like it's all sunshine and rainbows. And you can turn your game day experience into a much better experience if you download Prize Picks. And we got a pretty sweet deal for you. If you use code CLNS, you'll get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. It's very simple to play. Just pick more or less on at least 2 player stats. If you get your picks right, you could cash in. Follow other Prize Picks players directly on the app and copy their lineups in one click. Whether it's a friend, a celebrity partner, or just someone whose picks you like, hit the follow button and check out every lineup they create in the new feed tab over on Prize Picks. We make decisions every single day, but over on Prize Picks, being right can get you paid, so don't miss any of the excitement this season over on Prize Picks. And for the Saints versus Falcons matchup, I got an awesome lineup for you. I'm taking the New Orleans Saints to absolutely put BTA on the Atlanta Falcons. I'm taking more on Chris Olave's receiving yards. This just feels so disrespectful. I think Chris Olave is going to have a huge day. We're actually going to put out a preview about this later in the week, so I hope you check it out. Kirk Cousins, I'm taking the less on his passing yards. I think the Saints defense is going to cause some problems for Atlanta. And Tyler Shough, I'm going to take the more on his passing yards. Kirk Cousins does not have Drake London. He does have Bijan. He does have Kyle Pitts. But I'm here to tell you right now, I think the Saints are going to handle their business. And I'm going to enjoy game day a lot more, not just because the Saints are going to win, but because I'm going to be cashing in. Fun fact, if you follow this lineup, $20 will win you $105. So go put that ball knowledge to the test and download Prize Picks today. Use code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code CLNS to get $50 in lineups lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Shout out to Prize Picks, where it's good to be right. Click the link in the comments or description of this video to get started today. Now let's talk about Tyler Shough, some things that I'm just really, really impressed with in this player. There's a lot of things, but specifically coming out of the Panthers game and what I saw in terms of growth from the second half of the Bucs to the full game against the Rams to the full game against the Panthers, I believe that we've seen the New Orleans Saints offense be elevated by Tyler Shough. I think he makes the players around him better. I think that he is somebody who also understands how to manage the game and work really, really well in the offense that he's currently in. I think that he also improved in the pocket. His feel is so much better. The way that he was able to he was able to kind of freelance on the just off the rip. He was able to improvise. That's what I was looking for. He was able to improvise against the Panthers, and he was able to navigate the pocket really well, find space, deliver the shot, hit Juwan Johnson on a couple of those. So that's absolutely electric to see that connection continue to grow and continue to be prevalent from their times back at Oregon. I think he's a tough and a fearless competitor. He is somebody who is going to sit in there and take the hit if he needs to. I think that he's somebody who has that size and that arm talent that you want in an NFL quarterback. He is very underrated mobility, and his passes, in my opinion, they're very catchable footballs. Like, he has nice touch on him. He isn't throwing it on an absolute laser every single pass. He's putting some nice touch. He's layering the pass in there. He's giving the receivers a much better opportunity to come in with the pass. And in my opinion, I think the drops have dropped. I think the drop issues have been less prevalent since Tyler Shough has taken over. Not a knock towards Spencer Rattler, but simply I think that Tyler Shough is really starting to take form, and we're in the early stages of seeing him be like, okay, like, hold on. We actually might have something in here. And like, I want to be totally fair here. Just like I was to Shedeur Sanders, just like I was to Spencer Rattler, just like I am to every single player on the New Orleans Saints or anyone I talk about. I want to go pros and cons, and I want to be able to have an honest conversation, an honest assessment with my opinions. Tyler Shough is not a finished product. He is far from perfect. I don't think that he is even close to being anywhere near the guy that I'm like, oh, absolutely, this is my franchise quarterback. Like, we're not building a statue for him. We're not extending him. We're not doing any of that yet. But the early signs are positive. I think that Tyler Shough is very comfortable in Kellen Moore's system. I think if you put more talent around him, it will only make the team better. I think if the offensive line can be a little bit more consistent and protect him, especially in the interior portion, then you will see better football from Shough. And if Kellen Moore can just find ways to play into his strengths, I got to be honest, like that 40th overall pick that a lot of us were questioning at first, starting to seem like it was actually a pretty smart selection. And it just kind of going back to the Shedeur thing, like, look, I don't think he would be much better in New Orleans. Like, I'm going to just be totally blunt with y'all. I understand that the Browns are a terrible situation. Their offensive line is bad. They don't have many weapons. Their coaching staff is a joke. But I don't think that he would be doing much better with the Saints. I think that this team and this offense and this future is tailor-made for Tyler Shough, and I think that Kellen Moore knew that whenever they got late into the draft process, and they knew that's the player they want to prioritize drafting. And again, I was on board with drafting Shedeur Sanders, so this is super hypocritical for me to turn around a few months later and have this conversation. I'm fully aware of that. And again, this isn't a hit piece on Shedeur. This is simply me saying I think that the New Orleans Saints made a really good decision. And I'm going to be totally honest, like, I crazy concept, but opinions can change. I know that it's something wild to digest, but I was big on Shedeur Sanders. I wanted him in New Orleans. I thought that he would be a really fun addition and a smart pick, and he would be somebody who you could build the future around forever and ever and ever. That's something that I talked about on this channel multiple times. But my opinions have changed. And I think that that's totally fine. And if your opinion has changed or if it hasn't, that is totally okay. That's the beautiful part about this is we can have a conversation. We have discourse. And at the end of the day, we're all Saints fans and we want to see the best in our team. So I will encourage you, just be patient with this team and with this roster and with Kellen Moore because we're still ironing out a lot of the wrinkles. You still got to get a lot of the older talent and the older money and the expensive players. You got to get a lot of those guys off the roster, and you got to get a lot of the new guys in. You got to draft some dudes. You got to sign some guys. You got to bring in players that are going to fit Kellen Moore's team. He needs to build his roster with his vision. It can't be a Mickey Loomis vision. It can't be a Brandon Staley vision. It can't be it needs to be his vision. It needs to be what he wants it to be. At the end of the day, Kellen Moore is the nucleus of this all. Let's have some faith in the plan. Early signs and early showings, in my opinion, are indicating that Kellen Moore is doing the right things. And the Saints made a good decision in hiring Kellen Moore. Yes, the play calling is questionable sometimes. Yes, some of the moves are a little bit head-scratching. But let's give it some time. Let's be patient, because I truly do believe that this team is moving in the right direction long term. I want to see more quality outings from Tyler Shough moving forward, and I want to see him continue to stack good moments and play with confidence, start to get some extra swagger, and learn how to win in multiple different ways. Like, I want to see the Saints run away with some of these games. Like, I wouldn't mind seeing the Saints light up the scoreboard here in the future. But I also want to see the New Orleans Saints find their identity offensively. I want to see them develop their playbook, develop how they go about these games, because I think it's very, very important to establish that identity early on, so that way you can continue to build in the direction with a clear path moving forward. And the remaining schedule is not hard, guys. Ladies and gentlemen, the Saints are playing some of the worst teams in football. 25-47 is the total record of the rest of the teams you play. Like, I'm not going to lie. I think the Falcons, Week 12, that is a win. Like, this just has win written all over it. It also has trap game, but it has win written all over it. Week 13 at Miami, maybe. Week 14 at Tampa, that one was going to be tough. Carolina, you already beat them once. What's saying we can't do it again, this time at home? Week 16 versus the Jets. They're awful. You should win that game. Week 17 at the Titans. That's a very easy game to win. And then you finish the season on the road in Atlanta. Like, I'm going to be totally transparent. Winning finishing the season with 7 total wins is not a far-fetched thing to say. Like, Falcons are bad. The vibes for them are at an all-time low. The Panthers, you already beat them once. Feel like that's not a problem. Jets, you should beat. Titans, you should beat. 7 wins is not outrageous. And I understand that there is people out there, and I also sympathize with the idea that we want to see the New Orleans Saints have a very high draft pick. I trust me, I do too. But if you can rattle off some wins and you can show that this is a team that has a winning culture and is establishing a winning culture, like, I don't think that we should be at all upset if in the first year of Kellen Moore's tenure, you get 7 wins, which is better than what the Saints did last year. Like, I don't think that that's a bad thing. I think that's something to celebrate. And I think that Tyler Shough has a really good opportunity to gain that confidence and show that he is somebody that the New Orleans Saints are worth building around for the future. And if he doesn't, guess what? You get to make a high draft pick anyway. So sink or swim, the New Orleans Saints, it feels like it's a win-win. In my personal opinion. But let's get some love for Tyler Shough in the comment section. I want to go see the black and gold get a W. So let's type some 6s in the comment section. Show our QB1 a little bit of love. And make sure you subscribe to Saints Now by Chat Sports. We will be live for this Falcons versus Saints game day for our watch party. It's going to be absolutely electric. I hope to see y'all there. You're formally invited. Make sure you come hang out with me and Loco Lopez. Y'all stay golden, and we'll see you next time. What up? $5 super chat. Heck yeah.
Hell yeah.
I'll be at the Saints game this Sunday. Shough is going to go off. Dude, I wish that we could see
I hope you're right.
Tyler Shough play sooner, to be totally honest. I wish we could be at this game, dude. I would kill to be at this game.
We could do Saints Now on site.
Would be fun.
Who's stopping us?
Would be fun. Would be fun. Mac and G, what's the point of winning in trash time? Well, the division is very bad. If you win this week, you're 3rd in the division. And then if you beat the Panthers again, you take the tiebreaker of them, so then you're 2nd. And if somehow the Bucs keep losing, then you might actually rattle off a win, the NFC South. And the other thing is, it doesn't, like, you're trying to turn things around. Why do you want to lose games?
Yeah, these are professional athletes at the end of the day. Like, it's really hard to convince them to be like, hey, go out there and shit the bed, even though your job here isn't guaranteed.
Yeah, and the other situation is, don't we want to see it get better? Like, why are we rooting for it to be worse than last year? Like, you can't sit here and tell me that you win 5 games in the back half of the season. You're going to be upset about that? You're going to be mad. because that's absurd to me. I want to see my team get better. You know how you get better? Winning games. Like, the goal should not be a top 3 pick. That's not something you should strive for. But if that's something you have, it's a good coping mechanism to make you feel better about the shitty football you're watching. Crystal, great question. We'll make sure we answer that in the mailbag. Use hashtag Saints, send in a super chat if you would like to get, or I want to win when it counts. This is when it counts.
It's the regular season.
It's the regular season. We still have half a season to go. What do you mean nobody's been eliminated from the playoffs yet?
Except the Jets.
The Jets have, and I'm not saying we're going to go on a playoff run, but it's not about, let's make sure we lose so we can have a high draft because we got to protect that. It's about seeing how do we win this game? Who's a part of this thing moving forward? And if you get a bunch of wins, I think you're absolutely insane if you're mad about that. I genuinely think that is one of the most absurd things you could possibly believe. I cannot wrap my head around, I want to make sure we lose a bunch of these games.
Loser talk.
Yeah, sure, we're going to beat bad teams. Okay, then that means we're not a bad team. You're average. Okay. But we were horrible last year. If we can prove to be doing the right things, moving in the right direction, that should be awesome, right? It's crazy. I don't get it. I just don't get it. And also, I'm just going to go ahead and tell you this, that nobody's going to try to lose games. Like Lopez said, these guys are professional athletes. They may or may not be on this team next year.
They might not be in the league next year.
Yeah, they have bonuses. They have money tied to this stuff. Like, tanking is a fan theory. That is not a real thing that teams do.
It might be like fan theory and maybe a really shitty run.
A thing that shitty ran organizations do. That's not something that you should want. I'm just going to go ahead and say that.
Oh, I do have bad news for you, by the way. My Nintendo Master said you are going to be last in rankings this week because the Saints want to buy, so sorry.
Wait, he did?
Yeah, get fucked.
How does me not being if anything I should go up because I put out even more content for the company. So Mike, I think your rankings might be a little misconstrued, dude. It's kind of crazy.
I'm just saying, Mike, I got a real question.
And Lopez didn't take the week off. Why did he go down?
No, like real question. In your last rankings, Coop was number 2 in basketball. Triz was number 2 in football. Ortner was number 1 in football. And I do stuff for them
Mike Nintendo Master.
And I was number 6. It don't make no sense.
Mike Nintendo Master, hashtag Saints. So which QB are you guys taking when you fire Moore? Who will you guys hire? Well, Mike, I'm here to tell you it's Kellen Moore. Secondly, they're not firing him after 1 year. So there's that. Third of all, which quarterback are we going to take? I don't think the Saints are going to take a quarterback. So 0 for 3 on that one.
We're so going to drop. Dude, rankings come out tomorrow. We're fucked. You're going to plummet my stock.
He already said I'm going to drop. Who gives a shit?
You're plummeting my stock. I was going to go and walk into Brent's office and be talking contract extension if I get my top 3.
I'm just messing, Mike. But to answer your question, they are not firing Kellen Moore. That's just not going to happen. So I don't get why everyone's fire them every 5 seconds. I find it interesting. He did seem to not mention that you go back up to the top 10. I find it interesting. So it won't affect your rankings at all. Okay, yes. Good. We're very tapped in on Mike's rankings. All right, let's preview this game. We love Mike and we love his rankings, but we're gonna get into this ball game here. Mike Nintendo Master, for those of you who don't know, he puts out weekly Chat Sports rankings for the hosts and the producers here. Follow him on Twitter to see them. They come out every Tuesday and Wednesday, right? It's Tuesday and Wednesday?
Yeah, I'm making a push for number 1.
Lopez making a push for number 1. Your boy has been top 5.
Give me some votes.
We're trying to get up to number 1.
I want
votes. Let's get to the number 1 spot of Mike Nintendo's rankings. Go follow him on social media, and if you do, tell him you're a Saints fan, so that way he bumps us up the rankings.
Yeah.
All right.
Do what Jack did.
There is collusion going on with this.
Yeah, I heard people were giving out raffle tickets too. I mean, we're not going to stoop that low, I think.
Well, we don't have raffle tickets right now.
Well, that's why we're not going to stoop that low.
Sunday, Mike. Different story. All right. All righty, let's party. We're going to get into a Saints versus Falcons preview. How they can dominate Atlanta. Suck Atlanta. Let's party. Yep. What's going on, Saints fans? In today's video, we're going to preview this New Orleans Saints versus Atlanta Falcons matchup, and I'm going to tell you how the black and gold can dominate the Dirty Birds. Now, I want you to help me out before we get into this video. If you want the New Orleans Saints to win, I need you to do one thing and one thing only. Sub 4 dubs! Sub 4 dubs! Sub 4 dubs! If you want to see the black and gold get a victory, I need you to hit the sub button right here, right now. We will be live on game day. I hope to see y'all there. This is your formal invitation to our watch party. We're going to be live here on the channel November 23rd at 2 p.m. Central Time. Kickoff is at 3:25, so you got to hour and a half pregame show. We'll see you on game day. Give me a who dat in the comment section to RSVP that you will be at the watch party. Now let's preview this matchup. First things first, I want to take a look at the opponent, and I want to talk about the offense, the defense, and then we'll talk about our team because that's where we all have our expertise, obviously. Look, the Atlanta Falcons vibes are down right now. They have lost 5 straight games. They have lost 2 in a row in overtime. They are continuing to blow leads, and I feel like I've heard this song and dance before. Now, in terms of offense, they have been sort of effective in moving the football. They just cannot score points. That's something that they struggle with. They struggle on third down. And the entire offense is taking a big hit because of some notable players being out this week, and we're going to talk about those in a moment. But the defense, they have definitely improved the pass rush. They have some really nice players on that side of the football. However, they don't give up a lot of points. At 23.9, that's number 19. I think the New Orleans Saints need to find a way to get to that 24-point threshold because that's something that the Saints have struggled to do is score a lot during the season. So for New Orleans, you need to see them take advantage of the yards per game and the third down percentage and the areas in the red zone where they do struggle, and you need to exploit those weaknesses. Now, in terms of some injuries, notable updates for a couple of players. Michael Penix Jr., the quarterback, he will be out due to a knee injury. It's believed to be a season-ending injury, according to early reports from Ian Rappaport and Adam Schefter. Drake London, the wide receiver, he has a PCL strain, so he will miss some time, but the Atlanta Falcons take on the New Orleans Saints take them on next, most in the future. I can't even figure out what I'm trying to say. They take on the Saints in the near future. That'll be the next game they play, so it is very realistic to expect both of these players will not participate. So here's what the offense should look like for Atlanta in terms of their weapons. Kirk Cousins will lead the offense. Bijan Robinson, one of the best backs in the league. I still want to make sure we do everything we can to contain that player. Darnell Mooney, he's fine, but he's no Drake London. Casey Washington, he's another player in the wide receiver department for the Atlanta Falcons. Don't know much about him. He was a 6th-round pick, but Kyle Pitts, the tight end, we know a ton about him. Mr. Inconsistency, but Bijan Robinson, I expect him to be the entire game plan for this team. Look, Kirk Cousins is not the player he used to be. He is not somebody who I fear. He is not somebody that I necessarily am worried that will dice up this team. The Falcons, I'm not going to say that they're an entire disaster, but considering the injuries they have now, they are in a really, really bad spot. Bijan is 6th in rushing yards among all running backs in the National Football League. He's really impactful as a receiving back as well, but he hasn't been able to find the end zone much. So the New Orleans Saints need to do their best to contain Bijan Robinson. You know that he's going to pop off a few. You know that he's going to have some big plays and some big moments, but you got to do your best to limit those and contain him to the best of your ability. Defensively, I think that they have some talented players, most notably Caden Ellis, former Saints legend, David Onyemata, Saints legend as well, but Jesse Bates, Xavier Watts, AJ Terrell, those are some of the cornerbacks or some of the DBs that you should be paying attention to as well. And when it comes to the Falcons defense, these are the guys that the New Orleans Saints need to make sure they have a game plan for. I don't think necessarily it's going to be the most difficult thing to beat this team. However, you cannot overlook them. And you also have to be realistic with yourselves. Your vibes are really, really high, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you're definitely going to win this game. The Falcons defense, like I said earlier, they invested heavily in their pass rush over the last couple of years. Remember, they traded up back into the first round to go and get an extra pass rusher, taking Jalen Walker and James Pierce Jr. in the 2026 NFL draft. They don't have a first-round pick next year. Right now, that belongs to the Rams. They're picking top 10, so thank you, Atlanta, for that. But the Saints need a plan for the Falcons pass rush, and I do believe that plan is Kelvin Banks and Tyler Shough. However, when it comes to Tyler Shough and whether or not he will be available, Kellen Moore is saying that we'll see how things go throughout the week today to media on Monday. At the time of filming this video as part of our live show. But on Monday, Kellen Moore spoke to media and said we'll have to see how things go, but no new injuries, nothing notable to discuss around that front. But you're going to need a plan for the pass rush. Look, they have multiple guys who can get after you. Brandon Dorlus is going to cause problems on the interior. Luke Fortner, Cesar Ruiz, Dylan Radins, I need them to play consistent football. It's frustrating to say that Cesar Ruiz, I need you to step up because I don't think he will, but, maybe he can. Zach Harrison, Jalen Walker, Caden Ellis, all of these guys are the sack leaders for Atlanta. They need to have a game plan to attack these guys and stop them and prevent them from getting to Tyler Shough, because if they can get after Tyler Shough, I think it'll make the offense for the New Orleans Saints, it'll make their lives a living hell. And on top of that, when it comes to the pass rush, hey, hit Alvin Kamara in open space. Let Devin Neal get the ball. Hit some quick slants to Chris Olave or Devaughn Vele. I don't care. Just get the ball out and don't let Tyler Shough be forced into some of those rookie mistakes. That's what you cannot do. You have had some good tape. You had the bye week to really marinate in the confidence, really get prepared and ready for this matchup. So let's make sure we have a good game plan for the Falcons defense, because they do have some talented players on the side of the football. Now share your thoughts in the comment section. What is your score prediction for Saints versus Falcons? I want to hear from you, Who Dat Nation, because I know that y'all know ball. So get in the comments, share your thoughts, and let me know who you think going to win this matchup. Let's talk black and gold, baby. The New Orleans Saints offense. Newsflash, it's not good. That being said, I think things are starting to trend in the right direction. We obviously know that Tyler Shough has recently taken over at the quarterback position. Spencer Rattler went to the bench a few weeks ago, but the Saints have still had issues on third down, offensively and defensively. They could be much more consistent. In terms of the offense, they need to find ways to stay on the field, quite frankly. They need to have sustained drives. They need to score points. They need to finish drives. They need to extend them. They need to move the ball forward, not backwards, not left, not right. Limit the penalties, because the Saints offense is not good enough and doesn't have enough firepower to consistently climb out of holes. Defensively, you also need to make sure that you do everything in your power to prevent the Falcons from going up big. Not necessarily worried if they do take a lead, because we all know death taxes, Falcons blowing leads. But the defense needs to continue that bend, don't break mindset. However, I would like them to bend a little bit less. And, when you talk about these two teams, the vibes are very different. Like, everyone amongst Falcons fans was saying this was their year. The Falcons were supposed to win the division. The Falcons were supposed to do this. The Falcons were supposed to do that. You're supposed to get this. Supposed to get that. The vibes could not be more different right now. Atlanta has one more win than New Orleans Saints. And they don't have their first-round pick next year. Michael Penix just got hurt. Drake London's hurt. Things are not good in Atlanta right now. Meanwhile, for New Orleans, things are trending up. Starting to see some good production from Chris Olave. The defense is starting to play a little bit better. The offense is starting to establish somewhat of an identity. You're getting to see Tyler Shough get after it. They're getting a little bit better each week, in my opinion. Like, at least they're kind of getting back to that. So in my opinion, when you talk about these two teams, I'm not going to say you ride the highs and you try to battle the lows and you ride through the vibes, but human element of this, I really think the energy is going to be high for this game. It's a rivalry. Both of these teams hate each other. These fan bases despise each other. But at the end of the day, the Saints have a really good opportunity to dominate them. And they could dominate them looking really, really good in some nice threads. They're going all black against the Atlanta Falcons. Brand new uniform combination. Black helmets, black jerseys, black pants. It is going to look so tough in my personal opinion. And I'm going to tell you right now, I think that this is so great for multiple reasons. One, they're going to look awesome. Two, it's all black for the Falcons funeral in New Orleans. You come to the Superdome, you know what happens, Atlanta. We put belt to ass. Now, if you guys want to get some Salute to Service gear, November is Salute to Service month for the National Football League. We have a link for you, chatsports.com/NO Salute. That's New Orleans Salute, obviously. If you want to get hats, hoodies, t-shirts, memorabilia, footballs, jerseys, whatever. We got all of that if you click the link in the comments or description of this video. I have this hoodie. It's so comfortable. It looks awesome. I love working out in it. I love sleeping in it. I love wearing it out to the store. I love doing everything in it because it's a great hoodie and you'll love it too. And if you want to rep the troops and you want to rep the New Orleans Saints with a limited edition jersey, I highly encourage you to click the link in the comments or description below. And you can also have the shirts, the footballs, all that good stuff. Click the link in the comments and description if you want to shop the Salute to Service gear. And if you are a member of the Armed Forces, thank you for your service. We really appreciate you at Saints Now by Chat Sports. And we just got to say, the United States of America, the best place in the world. Now, let's get to the offensive key to victory, defensive keys to victory, and then we'll kind of get you guys out of here. Now, offensively, protect Tyler Shough. Keep him upright. Have a game plan for those pass rushers that we talked about earlier. You need to limit the pass rush, not just from the outside, but from the interior as well, because that's where the New Orleans Saints, in my opinion, struggle the most. You got to get Alvin Kamara in open space. That's a good way to combat the pass rush that the blitz and the pressure that Atlanta will put on the New Orleans Saints offensive line. I think you got to feed Devin Neal. Do not force feed Taysom Hill. Devin Neal is an ultra productive rookie from Kansas who absolutely should get more opportunities. And I want to see big play Olave shine. How many awesome moments have we seen with number 12 against the Atlanta Falcons? Let's get a few more of those. We know an extension is in the works, and let's see you have an awesome day 12, and let's get that pen to paper very, very soon. I want to see Juwan Johnson and Devaughn Vele get much more involved as well. We know that Devaughn Vele's snap count has significantly gone up since Rashid Shaheed was traded. Granted, it was only one game, but you need to see Devaughn Vele get more targets, get more opportunities, get more involvement. And I think Juwan Johnson needs to be involved as well. I know a lot of us don't, or not a lot of us, but I know a lot of Saints fans aren't necessarily happy with how Juwan Johnson has played this year. I definitely think he could be more productive and more consistent. However, there's clear chemistry between him and Tyler Shough. They were teammates back at Oregon, and I think that that's something that definitely has been on display last week, and let's see that continue to shine. Now, defensively, you got to do a few things. Get after Kirk Cousins. Chase Young, Cam Jordan, have a freaking day. I want to see them feast. I think that there's no reason to see Chase Young not have multiple sacks. To be totally honest. I also think Alontae Taylor should be getting some blitzes out of the nickel. Like, I really do think that you need to get Alontae Taylor in the backfield. I think you need to get as much pressure as you can on Kirk Cousins. He's a statue. He is not mobile. He is not the player he used to be. He is going to panic. If you put pressure on him, he will definitely not do well. And I want to see the New Orleans Saints get after Kirk Cousins. Limit Bijan Robinson. We talked about it earlier. He's a damn good football player. But you need to find ways to make sure that you can limit the wounds, because he is going to gash you. He is going to have big plays. Limit them, prevent the big ones from happening. And if you do have something happen, you got to find a way to bounce back and battle through that adversity. Get off the field on third down. Don't commit penalties. Don't commit stupid errors. Finish your tackles. Finish your assignments. Execute, and just get off the field on third down. And I think if you force 2 turnovers, this game is a win. You force 2 turnovers, you protect the football, there's no reason to believe that the New Orleans Saints cannot leave their home stadium against the Atlanta Falcons. Tyler Shough's first game against that team, Kellen Moore's first game against that team. There's no reason to believe that they can't get a win if they do these things. Now, lastly, the biggest key to victory of all. For the love of God, when I say unload the clip, I mean take the clip out and put it in the safe, lock it away, and don't even think about it. The New Orleans Saints have an unhealthy addiction to shooting themselves in the foot every opportunity they get. They love to unload the clip on their big toe. That's just something that they have an unhealthy obsession with. If the New Orleans Saints can limit the self-inflicted wounds, if they can play a clean brand of football, if they can play discipline, if they can execute and play 3 phases of quality football for 4 quarters, the Saints will win. There's no reason to think the Saints should not win this game. I think right now, New Orleans is the better football team. I understand that the records may show something different. I understand that the stats may show something different. But when you talk about the eye test, when you talk about what's going on with these teams, I genuinely think right now the New Orleans Saints are the better squad right now. Final thoughts. And I've seen it on Twitter. I've seen it in the comments. I've seen it in the live chat here. We even had a discussion about it. I don't care. I don't care that a win may skyrocket us up the board. I don't give a shit. The draft order does not matter this week to me. What matters is beating the hell out of a team I absolutely despise. What matters to me is dominating a team that I absolutely hate. The Atlanta Falcons have no business beating you in your own stadium. The Atlanta Falcons are a disaster. The Atlanta Falcons are a joke. The New Orleans Saints, they may be a joke too, but there is nothing that I hate more than the Atlanta Falcons. And look, you may have your opinions on this. You may have your opinions on that. You may want to tank. You may want this player. You may want to trade this player. Saints fans have so many different opinions on so many different things. The one thing we all agree on, it's F the Atlanta Falcons. It's fuck those guys. We hate that team. And if you bleed black and gold, I want you to hit the thumbs up icon and sub for dubs for me. If you hate the Atlanta Falcons, hit the thumbs up icon. Let's put belt to ass this weekend, and let's go get a win in our home stadium. Statement victory for Kellen Moore. Statement victory for Tyler Shough. And let's dominate the Dirty Birds. If you got a question or an idea or a hot take, use hashtag Saints or Super Chat. We'll need to change that in the future because trade is done.
Oh, shoot.
Trace, why no LSU channel? I'm not an LSU fan. We do cover the LSU on our main chat sports channel. We also cover the Arkansas Razorbacks, Penn State. We've covered just college football in general.
If you haven't gotten your questions in, you know who you are. Just get your questions in. Use hashtag Saints. Simple.
Yeah, hashtag Saints, or if you have a question or hot take. Mike Nintendo Master wants me to start an Arkansas channel. Maybe one day. I have a lot on my plate though. Like in each of these pieces of content takes a little more time than you would think to get ready and get out to the world. And I have a lot of responsibilities that aren't just Saints here. Like I know some people might think that we come in, we do a couple of videos and we just go home and we're here for a few hours a day. We're here from about 8:30 to about 6 every day. That's why you got bags under my eyes. That's why I look exhausted. So if you have a question or hot take, use hashtag Saints or send in a super chat. We want to have a conversation with you guys. Can you push it over? If you have a question, get on the show. I see I Love Football has a few. We need everyone to participate. Justin, great question. We'll make sure we include that. Weston, use hashtag Saints and send in your hot take, brother. I would love to react to that.
I know some people got questions out there.
Jaden, where's your question, brother?
Jaden's always good for
Jaden's got a couple in there?
7 of them.
If you have a question or a hot take or something you would like to talk about, let's get after it.
Some NFL news, though. Jamar Chase got suspended. That's fun.
Huh?
Jamar Chase got suspended.
Yeah, I was just reading that. Jamar Chase is getting suspended for spitting at Jalen Ramsey, but he's going to appeal it. What is there to appeal? You spit on a dude. He denied spitting on Jalen Ramsey when it was blatantly obvious that he is spitting on him. And I think Jamar forgot that there's cameras and that we televise football games now. It's all over everything. Weston, we'll get you on there. Jerry, great idea. Use hashtag Saints or send in a super chat if you want to get on the show. Let me know.
Let's see.
All right, we're going to get into some news and updates around Chris Olave.
We do get to talk Chris Olave today.
Hmm?
This is Chris Olave talk day.
Yes, we get to do Chris Olave talk. Hold on. Are you telling me that we're going to do a mailbag with no signed Michael Thomas? That's crazy. That's crazy.
I know someone out there is thinking it.
I know somebody out there is doing
Someone out there is thinking it.
Alrighty. Let's get into some news, some updates, Some rumors and some more.
And then we may get to go home.
Mike Nintendo Master wants a who dat chant. If you want the Saints to embarrass the Falcons, give them a who dat in the comments. Who dat to you, Mike. Hope you're having a good day, buddy. Man, I'm exhausted. I had a bachelor trip this weekend, and I'm still not caught up on sleep. All right, let's get after this. Dude, I'm like about to yawn. Holy cow. Trizzy's hitting a wall, but we're going to power through.
These Mondays after game days.
Yeah, Mondays are tough,
draining.
man. Even on the bye week, Mondays are exhausting. All right. Let's do it. News, rumors, updates, and more here on Saints Now by Chat Sports. What's going on, Saints fans? You're watching Saints Now by Chat Sports. My name is Trizzy Trace Girouard. Thank you so much for tuning into today's video. Got a pretty good show lined up for you. We're going to get into some updates around Chris Olave because he had some updates to provide. Oh, hold on. Let me restart here. We can go from here. We can just go from here. I totally botched that. You're good. Alrighty. See how the sausage is made. Let's run it. What's going on, Saints fans? Thank you so much for tuning into today's video. Got a pretty good show for you on tap. We're talking extension updates from Chris Olave. He provided some new information. I'm sure you've seen it, but I wanted to give you my take. And we have a Golden Gang Q&A. What's the Golden Gang? It's the group of our awesome subscribers. So if you want to join the Golden Gang for 100% free, just hit the sub button, lock us in, and tune into the content. Now, we do know that an extension has been in the works for some time with Chris Olave. There was a lot of chatter about him being potentially traded at the deadline, but obviously New Orleans did not do that. They opted to move Rashid Shaheed. They kept Chris Olave, and even dating back to Week 7 against the Bears, Chris Olave said that he believed that him and the Saints were on the same page. And we also know that this has been something that's been in the works for a little bit of time. Now, Chris Olave joined Kay Adams on the Up and Adams show, and he provided this update. And Saints fans, I think you're going to love it. She asked Chris, what's going on with the extension? I heard that there was a lot of chatter about that during the deadline rather than a trade. He said it's in the works. I want to be in New Orleans forever. I know it's a tough time right now, but I love it out here. I love the people. I love the culture. I love the fans. And I love the new coaching staff and the front office. We're in the works right now. I hope it gets done soon. Like I said, I want to be here my whole career. I got to say, shout out to Chris Olave. I tip my cap to you, my friend. That is really, really cool to see. The awareness that, hey, this isn't all sunshine and rainbows right now, but he believes in the long-term future. Like, that's pretty cool. And I got to say, I really do appreciate that as a fan. I also can appreciate it as somebody who watches this team covering them on a daily basis. Like, look, you got to have some talent at some point. You got to give your quarterback in your offense an opportunity to build something. And you need talented dudes, and you have to invest in young, talented players. There's nothing wrong in investing in young, quality athletes and young players who will be high-level contributors. You just don't want to overpay the guys who aren't going to give you that production. But that's the risk to reward with all of these things. I just got to say shout out to Chris Olave. I really do appreciate him for wanting to stick in New Orleans. And, you know, I do think that the future is bright for this player. So far this season, 60 catches, a little over 650 yards. He has 4 touchdowns. That's almost at his career high, 11.1 yards per catch. Right now, he's tied for 7th in catches. He's 15th in receiving yards. He's 5th in targets among all wide receivers. And that 5th in targets, sure, it's a little bit frustrating when it's 5th in targets, 7th in catches, 15th in receiving yards. Like, imagine if he caught more of those. Well, I think that that's something that's going to happen. I expect Olave's production to take a big jump, and I expect it to increase on the back half of the season. Like, I think that Tyler Shough and Chris Olave are a really nice duo together, and no disrespect to Spencer Rattler whatsoever, but I think that you have seen the Saints offense have a much smaller issue with drops since Tyler Shough has taken over. Granted, only a few games, but I think that Tyler Shough throws a very throwable football. I think that he is somebody who can work well with Chris Olave's skill set, and he has that NFL size and that arm talent. And I think that we're going to see Chris Olave and his production explode and increase in a massive, massive way. I don't believe we've even scratched the surface of what 12 has capable in his game. But I think that we are going to start seeing more and more and more and much better football from this player. And I do think that the New Orleans Saints, when it comes to adding talent this offseason, they need to add talent to complement Chris Olave. Like, I love that Rashid Shaheed and Chris Olave got to play together. Like, they genuinely were one of my favorite duos to watch in the league. However, you also need to understand that Chris Olave does a lot of things really well that Rashid Shaheed did. And when you asked Rashid Shaheed to do those things, it took away from Chris Olave from doing some of that stuff. Like, he can be a burner. He can be a downfield guy with a very, very in a big way. He's very, very good at that at Ohio State. But I think when you add players who complement him and who can play into that skill set, and you can have the offense move through him with other guys, I think that's a really good recipe for building this in the future, led by Kellen Moore and hopefully, potentially, maybe Tyler Shough. Now, coming up, let's get into a mailbag with the Golden Gang. Y'all have questions. Me and Lopez have answers, and we're going to respond to some hot takes. But first things first, got to thank today's presenting sponsor, and that is Prize Picks. I love Prize Picks, and I play it every single game day. And to be totally honest, I think you should too. Why? Because I got a pretty good hookup for you. If you download Prize Picks and you use code CLNS, you'll get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. We make decisions every single day, but over on Prize Picks, being right can get you paid. I always tell Maddie, you're always right. Download Prize Picks and let's start turning your right opinions and your ball knowledge into cold, hard cash. Everyone knows Trizzy doesn't know ball, but my girlfriend Maddie has extensive ball knowledge. Don't miss any of the excitement this season on Prize Picks, where it's good to be right. Prize Picks and how you play is up to you. If you want flexibility, choose the flex play, where you can get paid even if one of your picks miss. And it's so simple to play. You just pick more or less on at least 2 player stats, and if you get your picks right, you cash in. Here's an example. I got the New Orleans Saints absolutely lighting it up against the Atlanta Falcons, taking the more on Chris Olave's passing or receiving yards. I think he's going to have a big day with Tyler Shough. And I think Tyler Shough is going to have a really big day with Chris Olave. So I'm taking the more on these two, kind of double dipping. So that way when Shough throws the ball to Olave, it kind of contributes there. But look, Kirk Cousins is going to be missing Drake London, taking the less on his passing yards. And I think Quincy Riley and Cooley and McKinstry are going to do some good things against Atlanta. So if you want to fade these picks, if you want to tell the picks, don't care what you do. Just make sure you do it with Prize Picks. $20 on that lineup wins $105. So if you want to take advantage, download Prize Picks today. And by the way, friendly reminder, use that code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. When you download Prize Picks app, use the code CLNS, and you will get your $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Shout out to Prize Picks, where it's good to be right. All that information is in the comments and description of this video. All right, let's get to the first question. Aiden, what do you think the odds are of the Saints winning out? I don't think that they'll win out. Lopez, if you don't mind, let's go to that remaining schedule graphic. I do think that 7 total wins is not far-fetched to say. Right now, at the time of filming this, entering Week 12, you're 2-8. You, in my opinion, will beat the Falcons this week. The Dolphins, you could beat them. That's 2. The Bucs will be tough. Don't know what will happen there, but we will see. The Panthers, you already beat them once. Who's to say we can't do it again? That would be 3 wins. The Jets, that should be a win. That's 4. The Falcons and the Titans probably beat both of those teams. Let's say you beat the Titans once and you lose the Falcons once. That's 5 new wins. That's 7 total. Your opponents have a very bad record moving forward. Like, I don't think that the odds of winning out are tremendously high. I also don't think it's crazy to say that they will do that or that they could do that. I think like 4 or 5 wins, though, is a little bit more realistic. Lopez, what do you think about this remaining schedule?
I'll actually give you a little bit of a hot take.
Okay.
I think they finish above 500 in that 8-game stretch.
I like it.
Or
like
7-game stretch. I think they're over 500 in that. So either 4-3, 5-2 maybe.
Yeah. No, I like that.
I saw a lot of winnable games.
Yes. The Jets, let's say definite wins. Jets, Titans, Falcons at home. Those are definite wins. That's 3 wins. You definitely could beat the Titans. The Panthers you already beat once. Who's to say you can't do that again?
Dolphins.
Any given Sunday with Dolphins. Any given Sunday, maybe you beat the Bucks. I think they will.
If you catch them on like a bad week, maybe.
Yeah, you catch them on a bad week. Maybe you get a lucky break somehow, some way. Like, I don't think that they will, but like I do think that, like you said, 500 is a good take.
A little disappointing because I think we won't be getting that high of a draft pick as we were talking about earlier in the year. But you know what? If it's fun football and we're playing great,
yeah,
I get excited for it.
And look, if you're winning games, that should be really exciting. If your first year with a new head coach and a new system and a rebuild is more wins than it was last year, and it's like 7 wins, like that's
a plus.
That's a
win.
big win.
You feel like this was a successful year.
That's a success. That is more than a successful season.
Maybe you feel differently. I feel like the first few weeks I was like, this season is not a win. This is a throw it down the drain.
Yes.
This season sucked.
Yes, but now that we're getting into the back half and we're starting to see kind of things take shape, it's a little bit different now. Aiden, appreciate the question, brother. Jerry G, what's your favorite Saints-Falcons rivalry moment? This is a fun one. There's so many good ones. Pick any Cam Jordan sack against Matt Ryan. Pick any of those. There's a lot of them, so that's pretty fun. The Shy Tuttle stiff arm on Matt Ryan, that was pretty great. Obviously, I'm a little bit younger, so there's some of those deep history games that I won't be saying, but was it 2022, 2021? I can't remember what year it was, but when Jameis and Michael Thomas and Chris Olave and Jarvis Landry went in and beat the Falcons on the road in a crazy comeback. Was that 2021, 2022? I can't remember, but that game was on. How do you feel in Jameis? There's pain everywhere. But we're just gonna make it through. And I'm like, we were going to the Super Bowl that year. Mike Thomas was back, dude. It was electric. That was a fun one. Lopez, I want to hear from you on this one.
The obvious one that stands out is that Shy Tuttle. It had the perfect just aura around it, with it being the stiff arm, being on Thanksgiving, he gets the turkey after. Yeah. Aura-filled moment there, aura-filled night. Drew Brees' spin move.
Yes.
The Drew Brees spin move.
Yes.
I have never seen him move like that before, but I loved it.
Electric. So, fun fact, Maddie went to the Falcons versus Saints Thanksgiving game in Atlanta. So she got to go see Drew Brees play live before I did, and I never did actually, so that's pretty cool to know. But she was on the her aunt was a Falcons fan, and by Falcons fan, she knew people who worked for the Falcons or whatever. Yeah. So that was pretty interesting. My girlfriend got to go see that Thanksgiving game, and she was like on the sideline for part of it. It's pretty crazy, but I'm not jealous or bitter about it whatsoever. Not even a little bit. All right, hot take. Taysom remains unstoppable versus Atlanta. Look, I don't think Taysom Hill is the player he used to be. I also think that he owns Atlanta. I just think he does. I think he is the mayor of that city. I do caution the Saints from trying to force feed Taysom Hill because I don't want to just to lean on that because it's worked all the other times in the past. It's very apparent Taysom Hill isn't the player he used to be. That being said, Lopez, if you disagree with me, feel free to chime in, but I just feel like Taysom Hill should be a part of the game plan, but not be a focal point. I don't know how you feel about that.
I don't know if this is going to be the game for him, but I will agree with the hot take. We are going to have one Taysom Hill game.
Yes.
There's going to be one game where we're like, he's so back.
He's so back. He never left.
He'll get 2, maybe 3 touchdowns.
Yeah.
Maybe rip off a long run. He's due for that game. He does it every year.
Yep.
I don't know if that's going to be this week. Yep. It would be amazing if it is.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I think that this is one of those games that could be the Taysom Hill game, but at the end of the day, it'll also be it'll be kind of crazy to see him have a multi-touchdown game. But if there is a team who's going to do it too, it's going to be the Falcons. Ben, sign Breece Hall from free agency, draft a young tight end. I actually really like this plan. I think you need to, when it comes to the Saints offense, you need to plan for life after Alvin Kamara. What I do caution you on is the contract you pay to Breece Hall. I just think that it would be a wise decision to not overpay and overpromise there, so that way you don't continue this habit of bad spending. However, I love Breece Hall, and I think that would be a really fun addition, especially considering the running back room in New Orleans is fairly young outside of Alvin Kamara. It doesn't have a lot of NFL experience. Kendre Miller just hasn't proven to be healthy. I think that running back is an underrated need for New Orleans. I think that Breece Hall would be a fun one, but that's like if you're going to break the bank, that's the player I want. But, I don't necessarily know if it's realistic. However, drafting a tight end, absolutely. I love Max Clare. I love Eli Stowers. Kenyon Sadiq, the Oregon tight end, really like him. There's a handful of good ones out there. I definitely think tight end should be a priority. Go get somebody who can, help be a prevalent part of this offense. Kellen Moore's offenses have always thrived when they have a good tight end in the fold. I can't say it. Jeez, good Lord. All right, what up, Nola Chop? What are some keys for the Saints to get a victory over the Falcons? I'll give you three. I'll give you three key ones. We'll pop up my graphics for keys to victory that we've done. We talked about this in a preview earlier this week. I've had a couple of conversations about this already in general. But in terms of my keys to victory, you can see them on screen offensively. Protect Tyler Shough. I think it's a big one. The Atlanta Falcons do have a quality pass rush. They have a lot of players who are going to get after Shough. They're going to try to make him make rookie mistakes. You got to find a way to protect him, especially in the interior of the offensive line. I'd rather feed Devin, Neal than Taysom Hill. I want to see him get more opportunities. I want to see Devaughn, Vele, and Juwan Johnson be incorporated into the game plan in a heavy way as well. Chris Olave, let's give him some chances to feast because we know what he's capable of doing, and he's really starting to take some strides this season. But defensively, get after Kirk Cousins. You got to pressure that guy. He is a statue in the pocket. He's somebody that I think the Saints should not have much of a problem defending, both when it comes to rushing the passer, but also in terms of coverage. I think the Saints, especially knowing that Drake London is not going to be in the mix, I think the Saints should have a good day defensively in this game. But Bijan Robinson's the guy you got to limit. Like that's going to be the big one. You got to keep him from beating you all game long. You cannot let him have a generational, historic game. Because if you do, it's going to be like the Eagles game last year where, you had a chance and you didn't win it. You got to give your team a chance to win. And overall, just play clean football. Play a cleaner brand of football than the Falcons and get out of their way because we all know that they will end up blowing a lead if they get one. All right, Trizzy and Lopez, if you were the Saints, would you like to get Quay Walker from Green Bay? He'd be a good fit, especially when you think about Demario Davis. He's a free agent 2026. I mean, sure, it would be cool to have him here, but do you really want to spend a lot of money there? That's kind of my question. Do you want to spend a shit ton of money on a player right now when you could just let Danny Stutzman get into the mix? Personally, I'm good on signing Quay Walker because I'd rather spend money elsewhere. I think the plan would be Demario Davis somewhat on a cheap deal. You figure out what to do with Pete Werner, and if Demario doesn't, Demario retires. And if he does retire, then you just roll with Pete Werner and Danny Stutzman, and you figure out kind of the linebacker rotation moving forward. Quay Walker's a good player. I just caution you to spend big money on a position where you've already added some guys for the future. Lopez.
Yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat, especially with Quay Walker. He's going to be one of the top free agents this year, so he's going to demand that big money. And if we're going to spend money like that, I would rather see it go towards, the offensive line. I think if you're trying to get a Quay Walker, go to the draft and hope you hit on a guy. But in free agency, I would rather see us spend our bigger money to protect what could be our franchise quarterback.
Yeah, if it's between spend money on a guard or spend money on Quay Walker, I'm picking a guard 10 out of 10 times. If I could get a top guard or the top linebacker, I'm taking the top guard, not even thinking about it. Not even thinking about it. Because I also think you could bring back Demario Davis on a cheaper deal. And honestly, I don't think that's something outlandish to say it could happen. All right, appreciate you guys for tuning into today's video. My name is Trizzy Trace Girouard for my guy Loco Lopez. This has been Saints Now by Chat Sports. We gave you guys some updates on the Chris Olave extension. It's in the works, and Olave hopes to get a deal done soon. We also had some fun answering some questions and responding to some hot takes from you. Appreciate y'all for tuning in. Y'all stay golden, and we'll see you next time. All right.
What a live show, guys.
What a show. Clap it up. Clap it up. Clap it up. Good show over here. Good show. Good show. Jolly good show.
Ooh, Christian had a good question.
Is it the Arkansas LSU one?
Yeah.
How does it feel to lose by one in Death Valley? in the toughest environment in all of sports, the best 2-win team in all of college football, and you only won by 1 point, hang the banner. Hang the banner.
Yeah, but you lost to the best 4-loss team in all of college football.
Hang the banner.
You're welcome.
So excited. Yeah. For what it's worth, the Arkansas Razorbacks are 11 points away from 7 wins. Did you know that?
I did.
We are 11 points away from a 7-win season. It's insane. Harold Perkins also sucks and only shows up against the Razorbacks.
He's the greatest football player
If he only played against Arkansas, he'd be the greatest linebacker of all time. Other than that, he's just not that great. Gonna be honest. Not really that great.
But when he plays Arkansas.
But when he plays against Arkansas, for some reason, he's the greatest thing to ever happen to college football. Hang the banner. Good job on beating a 2-win Arkansas team when you're the favorite at home. Way to go there, Christian.
Hey, keep that attitude when we sign Lane Kiffin. We're gonna run the SEC for the next 20 years.
Okay. You're going to get Alex Golish, and you're going to like it.
No.
You're getting Dan Mullen, and you're going to like it.
If that's the case, I'll go coach the team.
Yeah, no kidding, dude. Honestly, I don't know what's going to happen with any of these coaching searches. If you guys didn't know, while we were live, James Franklin, he signed and made a deal official with Virginia Tech.
He is a Hokie.
He is a Hokie.
I don't know if that orange is going to work for him.
I don't know either.
Colors. That's not his colors.
I don't know either. I don't know. If it's not Lane, who is the LSU head coach? Or / who do you want it to be?
I feel like Nick Saban has to be number 2.
Nick Saban's not coming out.
We need to hit a home run.
He's not coming out of retirement.
We need to hit a home run. If he's gonna come out of retirement, it would be for LSU.
It would be for Arkansas. With all the Walmart and chicken nugget money, dude.
I have a better chance of being hired at Arkansas.
I also think John Gruden, you are the next Arkansas Razorback head coach. That'll be pretty cool. What do I think about Harold Perkins? I don't think he's that good, but he's generational against the Razorbacks. That's it.
If he could stay in college forever.
Yeah, if he could sign a contract with LSU to only play 1 game a year for the next 10 years, and it's against Arkansas, I think it would be a great investment by LSU.
I'd sign the deal.
I think it's a great investment by LSU, and honestly, a great deal for Harold Perkins because then he wouldn't have to play much, and he gets to fuck around all year, and then one week out of the year he actually shows up and does his job and gets his check, leaves.
Todd Graves, get on the phone, make it happen.
Make it happen. All right, we're going to hop on out here. If you want the New Orleans Saints to get a dub on Sunday, sub 4 dubs. Sub 4 dubs. This has been Saints Now live here on the show. My name is Trizzy Trace Girouard for Loco Lopez. Y'all stay golden, and we'll see you next time.